Democrats kick off the 2020 election season with a pair of debates, a gruesome murder investigation in Utah comes to an end, and everyone's favorite AOC breaks down after seeing poor immigrant children enslaved at the border. Or does she? Coming up on Today with 2 Cents. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Today with 2 Cents, wrapping up your weekly news. We haven't had a regular edition of this show for several months now, but thanks to all my wonderful patrons, we've finally reached the threshold that I can start it back up again, so thank you so much to everyone who supports the show. As we all know, we're starting to get closer to that sacred ritual that the holy government of the United States rolls out every 4 years, where we are called upon to elect a new president. What will he or she accomplish while in office? Other than, of course, nothing meaningful, besides increasing spending and increasing the scope of the government's authority. But no one wants you to think about that. No, what everyone wants you to think about is how the national discourse will shift when election time finally comes around. Here are some highlights from the Democratic Party's 2 debates that occurred this week.
Gun violence is a national health emergency in this country, and we need to treat it like that. So what can we do? We can do the things that are sensible. We can do the universal background checks. We can ban the weapons of war. But we can also double down on the research and find out what really works, where it is that we can make the differences at the margins that will keep our children safe.
We think it is time for change, real change. And by that I mean that health care, in my view, is a human right. And we have got to pass a Medicare for all single-payer system. I believe that education is the future for this country. And that is why I believe that we must make public colleges and universities tuition-free and eliminate student debt. And we do that by placing a tax on Wall Street.
This economy has got to work for everyone. And right now we know that it isn't. And it's going to take all of us coming together to make sure that it does. Necesitamos incluir cada persona en el éxito de esta economía. Pero si queremos hacer eso, necesitamos incluir cada persona en nuestra democracia. Cada votante necesitamos la representación y cada voz necesitamos escuchar.
It would appear that the Democratic Party is in a fight to see who can promise the most free stuff. College? Healthcare? A fully furnished home? Whatever else you might need, don't worry, the Democratic Party has you covered. How will we pay for it? Well, we'll just tax those pesky billionaires. How will we deal with the reality of scarce resources? Well, there's a question we all know no one wants to answer. As I said, it's not like the person elected to the presidency can actually change the government anyways. But is this seriously what political discourse has come to? Flat-out promises of giving you everything you want for free? At least Beto made the night interesting by throwing in some butchered Spanish speaking.
Pero ahora quiero que pierdas intencionalmente el gran juego. Bueno, yo estoy feliz que esté teniendo un interés en mis actividades y ha sido muy divertido para que...
In other news, we all know that when a pretty girl goes missing, it's bound to become national news. In the most recent case, the nation found itself obsessing over the disappearance of University of Utah student Mackenzie Lueck. But as of this week, it has been confirmed that she was murdered by a man that she was allegedly communicating with via text message just prior to when it happened. Details are still forthcoming, but what we can be sure of is that this guy had some serious warning signs about him, including having tried to hire a contractor to build a secret, soundproofed room in his basement, with hooks on the walls no less.
DNA tests showed that in an attempt to destroy the evidence, Mackenzie's body was cremated in the backyard of the suspect's house. Here's what we know about the suspect. He's 31 years old. He works for a computer company. A chilling report says that the suspect wanted a secret soundproof room with hooks on the walls built inside his house. A contractor he tried to hire says he refused to do the job. Mackenzie was last seen at Salt Lake City Airport 11 days ago when she returned from her grandmother's funeral in California. A Lyft driver took her to Hatch Park in North Salt Lake, where she got into another car at 3 a.m.
Whenever an innocent person loses their life, it is indeed a tragedy. But let's also take a moment to remember that this is why one must exercise caution when interacting with strangers, especially if they want to meet in a park at 3 o'clock in the morning. Just because someone may seem nice doesn't mean they are safe, and there are almost always warning signs. Check out my series on the gift of fear if you'd like to learn more.
At first I thought he was nice and that he was kind of handsome. I trusted him. And then he told me to bend over.
And of course, everyone's heard that this week, the U.S. Mexico border had a special visitor in the form of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Well, not this week per se. Rather, this week AOC shared heart-wrenching photos taken at an earlier date. In the photos, AOC is seen breaking down in tears when she saw poor immigrant children separated from their parents. This wasn't a staged photo op or anything. Just a concerned woman conveniently caught on camera when she had her heart broken. That is, except as it turns out, the only thing that AOC could see behind that fence was a couple of armed guards and their patrol vehicles.
Turns out, it was an empty parking lot. Oh, the humanity!
I saw with my own eyes that the America I love was becoming a nation that steals refugee children from their parents and cages them.
Yeah, you saw with your own eyes a few bored cops and a few dozen hysterical sanctimonious idiots pretending to cry over nothing for a crass photo op.
I'm not going to take any time to share my thoughts on immigration, as I've done so in previous videos. However, this just goes to show yet again that AOC is not the fundamentally new and uncorrupted, genuine politician that she claims to be. She's proven yet again that she's just as corrupt as any other, willing to engage in deliberate lying and propaganda to achieve her ends. Is she really as much of an idiot as she seems to be, or an evil genius putting on an act to achieve a different end? The world may never know. And can we really suffer through any more mindless news? I think not. Let's just get to the weekly hottie. Drumroll, please. This week's weekly hottie is Cassidy Cole. I owe it to my patron Mag for bringing my attention to this bombshell. Her bikini hauls are quite impressive. And that's it for this week. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on BitTube and BitChute, as well as other alternative platforms. And if you're able, consider supporting my work on Patreon, Subscribestar, or Bitbacker. God knows that with YouTube's changes to their algorithm and efforts to silence any content slightly right of Karl Marx, I won't be able to keep this channel going without all of your continued support. And that is my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth.